like the general frustration of, I practice so much
Mm.
and like, I feel like I'm better than ever, but I still haven't really seen any results. I'm like gold 5 right now. Even this is kind of even worse than how I usually am because like I'm usually floating around gold 4, gold 3.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I got interested in coaching.
Okay, I'm seeing here as well that you've been a big student of a lot of my tracer sessions, but
Yeah.
struggling to apply it. You understand the hero, you understand the role, but actually putting it into practice, or even finding out what I'm not putting into practice, like what's the deal, has been a bit of an issue.
Yeah, for sure. If you gave me like an on paper test about like what Tracer's job is and stuff, like I feel like I would ace it. But then like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. That's a great it's a great reminder that so much of skill is so little knowledge. Like I think that knowledge is really the gateway, but going beyond that and actually applying it is so much more important, and it's so much more difficult. And that's why for many people it can be seem almost effortless, and you're like, how do they do that? It's because
Mhm.
they sometimes they'll even misunderstand, but the things that they do are things that you can't quite replicate, right? It's why that I'm not the greatest player of all time, right? So, I mean, I might have a lot of knowledge, but applying it in game, I don't have the experience and repetition doing that. Now, off of that question, how long have you been playing Overwatch?
Um, Definitely for like when Overwatch 2 first like I guess was born. I've been playing since the beginning, since season 1. I'm technically considered like an Overwatch 1 player, but I had it on PlayStation and I didn't always have PlayStation Plus. So I would barely even count that experience.
Makes sense.
Um, yeah. And then I didn't start playing comp consistently until like I don't know the exact season, but it was like I'm pretty sure it was like the season Orisa had like her mythic skin that season or something.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Um, so it's why Tracer then?
Uh, so I don't know if you play like fighting games or anything, but basically whenever you get into like fighting games and you're trying to pick a main, typically what people will say is just like pick whoever seems most appealing to you, just like as a
Yeah.
character and stuff. I just really like Tracer's like powers and her design, so that's pretty much the reason why I play Tracer pretty much.
Okay. Okay. Seems good. Seems good. Yeah. I mean, she's a very appealing character for a lot of people, and one tricking her, she's probably the most quality, like the easiest character to one trick once you get past the skill curve. In terms of the skill of the character, definitely very difficult, but
Hmm.
there's an infinite ceiling, and there's really not almost no circumstance where Tracer would be a bad pick, right? So,
Yeah.
so gold 5. Um, how long have you been saying? Let's put it this way. How long have you been serious about approaching Tracer? How long have you been serious about approaching improvement in general?
Oh shoot, that's hard to say.
It might have been a spectrum, right? But if so, like break me down how that spectrum went. Like how did it go over time?
Yeah, definitely like when I was starting out in comp, I was just taking it casually, almost treating it the same as like quick play almost, but like, you know, maybe my teammates will be a little bit more serious and maybe they'll help me out. But
Sure.
um yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Definitely maybe we'll say since like the beginning of the year or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know because it all depends on when I started actually seriously watching like content, like
Sure.
yours and stuff,
So
and like unranked to GMs and stuff.
is it the content that motivated you, inspired you to take things more seriously, or is that how you found the content in the first place? Is because you wanted to rank up and wanted to
Yeah,
get
I
better?
think it's just like I saw my friends improving and stuff like that, and I was like, dang, I should really be improving more. Plus, I've been playing the game longer than them, so
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
that's when I started seeking stuff out, like your content and like A10s on Rank to GM and all that.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Okay. So short term goals for you is plat 5, but I'm overall just trying to be the best player that I can be, meaning I can accurately judge, critique myself in replays, and then long term maybe even grandmaster before Overwatch 3 comes out. Yeah. Okay. Makes makes sense. Now,
Yeah.
playtime wise, I try to play every day. About one game of deathmatch as a warm up, then a few games of quick play, then about 5 to 7 games of ranked. Is that consistent?
Um, yeah, the form's a little outdated.
Yeah. Fill me in.
Yeah. uh, it's only really outdated in terms of the comp games. I probably play maybe like 4 a day at this point. But then the warm up, yeah, that's still pretty much the same. 1 or 2 deathmatch, and pretty much just 1 quick play.
Okay. Okay. Good. I was gonna say that that might be a little bit much, just in the efficiency of your time. And frankly, depending on how long it takes for you to warm up, I would encourage you to experiment with cutting out the quick play game entirely.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you can't play it. Doesn't mean that it's objectively bad. I would be curious to see if it is something that you could skip entirely to get an extra ranked game in, just to be more
Okay.
efficient with your time. If it doesn't work for you, that's okay. It's totally fine. But I would try it. Now, at the time of the forum, you said, I feel like my main weaknesses are awareness, positioning, and surviving. Is that still the case? Do you still feel that's the case?
Definitely awareness is a big thing for me. Yeah, I mean, I guess all 3 of those are still correct. Positioning, I feel like I'm a little bit better at. Um, but yeah, and then the main thing that I came into here today wanting to work on was target priority and timing. Those are the
Okay.
2 things I'm currently trying to practice the most, and
Sure.
yeah, so that's
Sure.
my updated little thing that I want to work on.
Sure. Sure. Now, when you're playing deathmatch, do you have the capability to stream Overwatch through Discord?
I've never tried, but I
Can you
can.
try
I
real
can.
fast?
Ooh, okay. So I guess just share screen. Okay, hold on. Let me actually pull up Overwatch first.
Yeah, of course. Because I have an idea. I have an idea.
Okay. Okay. Share screen.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see?
Oh, I can. I want you to jump in to a deathmatch game. And then jump into a deathmatch game while you're waiting. And tell me how your frames feel.
How my frames feel?
Yeah, does it feel clunky, laggy?
Um, feels pretty smooth to me.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I want you to do. Have you heard the term trigger discipline before in any of my videos?
Yeah. I've been actually trying to practice that as well.
Okay. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to practice trigger discipline right now. So I want you to stay in queue, but leave this game.
Okay.
Go out, pull up a custom game. Create.
Great.
Settings. The import under summary on the right, the down arrow. Yep. Vaxta. VAXDA. Yeah. And then start. And then escape out. Just escape out. Start. Trigger discipline while we're waiting to practice trigger discipline.
I think Oh, there we go.
Pick a target. Shoot it. I like what you did there. Use the clip, then blink. I want you to practice that. Good. Nice. Keep going.
Maybe not the far up.
That's okay. Good. Now, for 2 clips, or for 10, 15 seconds, shoot your entire clip every single time.
Okay.
Just aim it perfectly. No trigger discipline at all. About 10 more seconds. Okay, now back to trigger discipline. Very good, by the way. You're doing excellent.
Thank you.
Go for another 30 seconds.
Ooh.
Excellent. Perfect. Now, I want you to practice your trigger discipline. Don't worry about your recalls. Don't worry about anything. Work on your trigger discipline until I say otherwise.
Okay.
Basic skin enjoyer. I respect it.
Yeah, like I said, I like Tracer's like original design and everything.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
yeah.
Do not worry about securing kills. Worry about your tracking.
Oh my god.
Good. This is good. That was good. That was good. I would say a little bit hesitant on that Cassie. I think you could have shot a little bit more aggressively, but I still like the way that you're... I like the intention you're going here. This is good.
Okay. Ooh.
It's okay. Keep going.
So still no recalling, right?
Well, you can recall, you can blink whatever you want to do, but don't put any attention to it. Just let it happen
my
if it
God.
happens. Yeah, I should have
Okay.
clarified that. Focus on your tracking if you need to recall, it's fine. Let's close the distance.
Dang it.
It's okay.
Oops.
It's okay. Yeah, that was good right there. I like that. We're going to do about 1 or 2 more minutes, and then
Okay.
we're going to switch it up. Stay locked in just on your tracking and trigger discipline.
Okay.
Be as accurate as you can. Good. Nice. Very good. Almost got her. Alright, stay locked in the trigger discipline here. Very good. Good micro adjustment there. We're going to do 2 more lives, and then we're going to swap it up.
Okay.
1 more life? That's hilarious.
Let's try this one more time.
Yeah, surely.
Where's this guy?
I want perfect tracking for this last life. Nice and
Whoa.
controlled. Good.
Yep.
Good. Relax. Focus on the tracking. Nice and slow. That's good. Okay, so now I want you to not worry as much about your shots. Like, you can shoot as much as you like, but focus on dodging accurately with your blinks. Through them, behind them, or on cover. Focus only on your blink movement.
Enemy needs 10 kills to win.
Nice. That was good up until there. You needed to blink there when she got on top of you, right?
Okay.
But up until that point was really nice. Very nice. Blinks again. Stay in your blinks. Okay. Stay in the blinks.
Oop.
It's okay. It's okay. Keep going. It's a really nice clip on that tracer with the movement. It's a really nice movement.
Thanks. Oh my god.
It's okay. Be deliberate with every blink, even if you have to be a little slow. Ah, you see the trigger discipline right there? You weren't even thinking about it. Nice job. All right,
Thanks.
stay in the blinks.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if he tries that thing again. He's not even up there. Never mind.
Blinks, blinks, blinks. I want you to move. Be unpredictable. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Nice.
Where's he?
Okay. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Blinks, blinks, blinks. Good try. Blinks, blinks. It's good. It's good. Do you notice how everything is a little bit more fluid here? A little bit more fluid. You're still making lots of mistakes, but your movement is like you're really hard to nail down.
Yeah.
It's good. It's not perfect. Yeah, yes, you see that? That's so good right there. Imagine if your tracking was 10% better. Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind, it just is. Nice. Now you're 13 HP,
Oop.
but yeah, nice.
That was I fat fingered that recall.
Yeah. I mean that was good though. Like the blink was great. Completely whiffed, right? That's perfect. I want you to stick with this all the way through the rest of the deathmatch.
Okay. Ooh.
Good response. Good response. Good response. Nice. That's a great
Right,
cooldown trade. It's okay.
Enemy needs.
All right. One more good blink. I'm gonna see one more good blink. Yeah. Yes. Good. That was good. That was really, really good. Okay, so the reason I wanted you to do this is you can leave the queue, you can leave the game, whatever. That's how you warm up. Right there.
Okay.
That's how you improve your tracking right there. Whether it's using the VAX. We don't go into VAX and just shoot randomly. VAX is terrible for that. Deathmatch is a lot better with that if you are going to shoot randomly. But even in Deathmatch, I would love for you to go in with a purpose. Right? I'm going to work on my trigger discipline. I'm going to work on my crosshair placement, keeping it at head height. I'm going to work on my blink movement. You could do the pulse bomb training in Vaxta as well, just like blink pulses or blink 180 pulses or whatever else. You know the combos, right? So that's how we train right there, mechanics.
Okay.
And if mechanics are continually a problem with you and you're still putting a lot of hours in, then you need to be playing ranked and warming up more like that.
Okay.
With that level of intention. Because not only does it mean that you play a little bit better in the short term, maybe not win more duels, but at that specific mechanic you play a little bit better, but it forces your brain to get good, right? You had to really develop some level of intention with what you're doing. You were not just going through the motions. Okay, so you could stop streaming for right now, but that's what I want all of your warm-ups moving forward to feel like.
Okay. Cool.
Now, in terms of whether you do trigger discipline or whether you do blink movement or crosshair placement, I don't care. Pulse bombs and backs it, I don't care. You can mix it up. Totally up to you. Whatever you feel like at that point in time. Sound good?
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. We warm up like that, 10, 15, 20 minutes tops. Then you go into ranked. You set some goals in ranked. Now, you can also practice those things in ranked too. I think with Tracer, blink movement, and trigger discipline are mechanical skills that you can practice every single fight. So you don't need to only practice those in warm. So if you want to practice your mechanical habits in ranked as well, do it. Totally fine.
Okay. Cool.
Now, when you play ranked, do you take breaks between games?
Yes.
Great.
Like I said, I watch your stuff, so I just stand up, just walk around the room, stare out the
Great.
window.
Do you feel like that helps you to keep or maintain a little bit of extra focus playing, or not as much?
A little bit, yeah. I definitely take a breather whenever I'm walking around. Even if I'm like tilted or something, I'll just like aggressively stare at like my figures or something.
Yeah, sure. Okay, okay. Well, you're supposed to, relax a little bit. And I would also say as well that when you're have a really bad game, I think it's actually pretty productive to think about that game. Well, kind of like think, like just let it kind of go, get it out of your system, and then thinking about what you need to be doing better next game as well. Now, mechanics probably the biggest thing. I'm always trying to go on off angles, and I try to sync up with the rest of the team, but I find myself dying really easily. Why do you think that's the case?
I think ever since I wrote that form, I think the biggest factor for that was probably timing. Like, what I would used to do is I think I would just see if my tank was shooting in general, and that would give me my indicator. It's like I should go in. But I feel like I should, or nowadays I've been trying to delay myself a little bit more for when my tank is actually pushing in rather than just shooting the other tank and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I think that's helped a little bit more.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Looking at your mechanics in the deathmatch and in Vaxta, I think you have gold level mechanics. So what I would say is that continue to work on your fundamentals, continue to work on your mechanics, and let's find out which one of them is going to carry you to plat. Maybe both.
Okay.
Or gold one, at least, right? Okay. Mentality could be a factor too. I get a tad nervous and jittery when I play ranked. I know it's not the same, but I'm pretty confident during quick play games. I don't really have the same mindset and ranked. Has that changed, or is that still similar?
Definitely that's probably changed. Ever since I booked this appointment with you, like I've been playing comp like every day, so it's kind of like a normal thing for me now. So the jitters are a little bit gone.
Great, great. That's excellent to hear. Okay. I don't really have any other questions from your form. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, none at this time.
Okay. Let's start streaming on my end. What code would you like to look at here?
Let's do Blizzard World.
Now, why did you choose this code? What about this code makes it worth looking at?
Just for both of these codes, I felt kind of like I didn't have too much of an impact. Or just like I felt like I wasn't, I don't know, making the best decisions or playing the best I could. And not to mention, like, I just find from playing as Tracer, I kind of despise payload maps.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's the main two reasons. Because I had other replay codes I was considering, but those were like different modes, and I feel like I struggled the most, especially on Blizzard World and Rialto.
Okay.
So definitely wanted your insight on these two specifically.
Okay. Any questions about gameplay or anything else before we jump in?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, let's take a look. I have it easy here because I don't have to teach much, because you already have an idea of what you ought to be doing, at least in theory.
Okay.
So obviously this angle with where your team is playing makes a lot of sense. And this is exactly what we talked about, right? So what's the issue here?
I didn't blink quick enough when he looked at me.
Yeah, that's it. Are you playing your effective range right now?
I could probably be a little bit closer, huh?
Okay, but it's risky, right? Because
Yeah.
you would mean leaving your angle. So then what should you do?
Should I just go behind the corner?
Yeah, that's it. Blink back behind the corner. Your thing with Tracer is whenever there's anything that has any sort of high damage output, you're either hiding from it or you're blinking around it. You're dueling it. Those are the rules. You never stand in front of a Zenyatta. You never stand in front of a Hanzo, a Cassidy, a Widowmaker, an Ashe, a Sojourn, heck, even an Ana, Baptiste, Roadhog, you name it. Your job is to avoid their sightlines, shoot them from the side, and then start to move when they give you attention. If you are not moving when they are giving you attention, you're dying. That's the rule.
Okay.
Now, it looked like you had the intention of potentially blinking there, but you were caught in a reload. But everything stops when they put the crosshair in.
Okay.
Again, no critiques on this angle. Checking your team's timing. Love to see it. We're not going to touch. It's okay.
Nope.
It's fine. It's kind of a difficult touch for you guys anyway. It's better to just take a fight here, I think. What should you do? What's the best way to take this engagement? This is a 2v1. You're not going to win it, but you can keep it busy and harass. What's the best way to take this engagement?
Just continue distracting. Just
Sure. Where?
Should I just blink back around the corner?
Sure. Like back this way? Sure.
Yeah.
What's the risk out of maintaining a staring contest with you and the Hanzo here?
He can one-shot me.
He can one-shot you. So why don't we make it a little bit more inconvenient? Well, how can you position yourself to make it more inconvenient? You have 2 blinks.
Should I blink through him and to the back more towards like the original spawn?
Yeah, or... Sure. It's risky. I would prefer you to go up towards the stairs. There's more cover here. But I don't mind you marking the angle here. I just don't want it to be convenient. You see, when his crosshair is turned here, what's the problem? He can see everything, right? Mm-hmm. I want more crosshair movement. So you're starting on an angle here. They have to turn their crosshair. Then they go put somebody on you. You then need to deepen your angle. You got to get what I'm saying? You need to deepen you need to make them move their crosshair, either with your blinks or with your positioning. Even this isn't actually too bad. Okay. Out of curiosity, what's just to make sure I check this off the list here. Do you know what your mouse's DPI is?
I actually figured you would ask that, so I actually brought out like a little calculator thing for it because I actually don't have the original packaging. I don't know how to check. So I used the little measurement thing. DPI might be around 1,200.
And your sensitivity in game?
For Tracer, it's 4.3.
Okay. And your mouse pad space, approximately in inches, or just even an arm length?
That's hard to say.
How many hands deep? How many hands wide?
Hands wide, I would say 3 hands wide, and then maybe 4 hands deep.
Okay, should be fine then. Your sensitivity may be a little bit high, and I mean a little bit. You said 4.3, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would say it would be more normal to have something from a 3.6 to a 4 with that DPI.
Okay.
Just something to consider. I would say try that and see how it feels. Toy around with it, but I don't think your sensitivity is a major problem. I just want to double check. Okay. Especially when you said you transition from console. Okay. We have a problem again. What do you see?
Hanzo's looking at me.
Not only Hanzo.
Venture.
Venture as well. Venture. Everyone's got their crosshair on you, right? Right here. Mm-hmm. So what should your priority be?
Back behind the corner.
Back behind the corner or start to move. Your choice. You either duel with blinks or you hide. Your job with Tracer, and something I'm noticing a little bit right now, is to set up on an angle and shoot. But if there's something that's going to poke you out, you cannot peek that thing unless you're blinking. You cannot peek without blinks.
Okay. So in this little situation, if I were to go like the blink route, what would be like the best way to
You tell me.
do it?
It's awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I don't want to go too... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Finish your thought.
I was going to say, I don't really want to go too deep behind them, right? Because
It costs you blinks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably get your recall force pretty quickly. Okay? You remember when I said here, I was like, this was a good initial angle, but then they started to look at you, and you need to, like, deepen around them?
Yeah.
Here's a question. Why would you even be here? This was fine when you were shooting Reinhardts and Mercies. But what's your other option? What's your other angle that you could play here?
Back wrapped around, kind of originally where I was, and then a little bit deeper. Yeah.
It's free. And now, not only do you force some more aggressive crosshair movement, which is what you want, but if you have 3 blinks now, there are so many more opportunities to do pressure. Blink from here, to here, to here, back, recall, start, harass. There's more options. That's it.
Okay. And then is this kind of okay timing wise?
Yeah, of course.
Because
Yeah,
I
of
know
course.
most of my team's a little bit more.
Yeah, your
down
timing's totally
than-
fine. Timing's totally fine. I mean, the fight has obviously started and has been going for quite some time. The fight started now. Timing is perfect. So, in as messy as this has been, what it has done is it has forced Venture, Hanzo, Mercy, and it's made this Rein in a lot of trouble. Right? Look at your team's HP. Right? So you've positioned initially fine. I'm just always on edge that I feel like you're going to get shot because you just don't. It's not that you don't consciously disrespect them, but you're unconsciously disrespecting the enemy DPS constantly.
I see.
This is much better because you're at least moving, right? You see that? Like, that was much better, right? Venture tries to push you out. You blink, shoot, blink, shoot, blink, shoot, blink, shoot. You win the duel. Venture's forced out. You hold the angle. You still have your recall. And so all you're doing here is just forcing more resources than you're taking. Recall, totally fine. I don't like the disengage route. You're probably going to die for that. Needed to go back towards their spawn, right?
Okay.
Just so that you could hold the angle. Because post recall here, the only thing that you can do is blink through and run. Honestly, or maybe even blink up here. It's very awkward. I understand you only have the one blink, but
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's risky. That's okay. Kiriko, Suzu, TP, Valking, Mercy, System, Venture. That's a good resource trade. Now, what should be the end goal here?
Probably return back to the angle I was at, or
You got it. As soon as you can, you have your blinks. You have your recall coming up very soon. You have 3 blinks. 1, and get in here. 2,
okay.
use the mega, cover. I just don't like the angle that we're on right now. It's too naked. It's too exposed. We're going to get shot in the face. It's not around the enemy team. It's too in front of them. It's too direct.
Okay.
Right.
So in this situation, it's okay to kind of ignore the Venture.
Yeah, I don't like where the Venture. I don't like this angle. It feels too exposed. It's too in the open, right? Nice. Do it. Wrap. You should have listened to your heart there and gone left. I like this. Okay.
Much better.
Cheeky, but I'm glad that it feels like we're remembering a little bit here. We don't win this. I don't think there's a single character in this game besides a Reinhardt, you know, that a Tracer will win if you stay in there and hold mouse one at each other. You must either start the fight at an advantage or blink. Remember the rule with Tracer, the very, very basic rule is if they're looking at you, you're blinking. If they're not looking at you, you're shooting. So what should be your first response here? Not to shoot,
Blink past the Venture.
blink past the Venture, or just simply play the corner and don't peek at all.
Okay.
Which is what you do. You take a shot first, though, is the problem. You see that? So you wait for the Venture to walk forward, then you blink, Venture misses a shot, and now you see your opportunity, right? So shoot. Venture turns eventually. You blink through, and that's another opportunity right there for you to actually get another shot. Now, obviously, the Reinhardt pins in, but that was well played in theory. Just needed to be cleaned up in some of the details. Does that make sense? I think it could have stayed here. Just be a
Yeah.
little more sneaky. I think you could have stayed. I think, like, once they wall climb out, you definitely are on your own in terms of timing here. But I think you can blink out this way, or certainly blink out this way, and then just chill here. You know, go back and right, do the same thing again. Why do I like this angle better than this angle?
Because it's deeper.
It's deeper, right? More crosshair movement, more, and it all comes back to if they no look, you shoot. They're more likely to not see you from here because it's more aggressive crosshair movement. this is more convenient for them to see you. So therefore, you're going to have to use blinks more. And so it's harder to take the duel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you could, you would always approach every duel that you take from behind. It doesn't always happen because the angles are not as good enough to give you that. But if you can take it, do it, right? Take it. Because obviously the problem here is now everything feels too far away. And I think your priority here, I don't know if you hear that, but there's a Hanzo here. Your priority needs to be taking this Hanzo duel or wrapping around and so on. So.
Yeah, there's the awareness thing. I didn't know he was there at the time.
Right. So we could critique the awareness for sure. Like, you should have heard that. I assume that your game audio settings are all normal and fine.
Yeah, they should be.
Okay. Then we'll critique this as the Hanzo is on the angle that you should have taken in the first place, and we won't worry about the awareness. If you'd taken the angle in the first place, you would have run into him. You would have won the duel. That's all we need to really worry about. Again, deep in that angle. Don't approach from this. This is really, really, really scary, right? Approach from here. Approach from here. I mean, there it is, right? That's why. That's why. It's not just, angles. The reason angles matter is it's for your own safety. It's for your safety.
One for you. One for you.
And that's why I really want to encourage you to practice what we did in Deathmatch today. Not necessarily the trigger discipline, but the blink movement, right? You see that's exactly what we're doing here, right? They move their crosshair, you blink. They move your crosshair, you blink. They move their crosshair, you blink. Get very comfortable with that rhythm.
Okay. So in this situation, should I be, again, setting up more towards their spawn, or is this okay for now? Since
Well,
the
you
fight's
tell me-
kinda moving.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just about to ask. It's like, where is this fight going to be happening? It's like, well, it looks like it's going to be migrating a little bit more towards here, so maybe it's okay. Now, the question is would you rather approach this fight? Would you tail these guys from behind and wait? Or would you prefer to tail them from here? I still think I'd go towards their spawn.
Okay.
I still think, because I would like to approach this fight from, here, or maybe even from like here-ish, right? And I think that that's a sneakier approach for me. See, you see the problem here? It's too far,
Yep.
right? So even though the fight has shifted its location, this still gives me the options that I prefer. Reasonable pulse bomb. Very good. Well timed as well. Yeah. It's been your best fight. Your best fight. Not in terms of how you started it, but how you finished it. So right here, well timed. Obviously would have preferred you to have been kind of tailing here and maybe even leaning towards here, but coming in from here, it's totally fine. The blink, once they turned the crosshair on you, was good. The pulse one was very reasonable. The recall was very reasonable. You stayed on the angle. You closed the distance on the Bastion. You kept shooting until he looked at you, and then you blinked through. Blinked at a distance, blinked around once he turreted, and then because he had to move his crosshair, he couldn't turn his crosshair in time before you finished him off. It's good. It's good. It wasn't perfect, but it was good.
Way ahead of you.
A little lost in the sauce there. It's good.
Yeah, I was just trying to slow down the payload.
Yeah. Totally fine. Okay. Any questions so far?
I'm forming a question, but I don't have one right now.
Okay. Obviously coming back from spawn here. I like this wrap. I would take all the way up the stairs. Let me explain to you why. Well, you tell me why. Why should you go all the way up the stairs here?
It's more inconvenient for them to chase me.
Yeah, and also it's closer. You see this?
Okay.
You see this? It's just a better angle
Yeah.
for you. And you have more choices as well, right? If you want to go for Bastion, okay, blink, reap around behind. There you go. Yep. I mean, you're not the reason this fight was lost, but yeah. 100%. Okay. Good. Just nag. See, this is really annoying for them. It's really annoying. Obviously, you're like waiting for timing and all that kind of stuff, but you are setting up, you're getting there. And we've got a Bastion turning around, and the fight's starting, And the Bastion's probably also going to need some healing as well. And now Bastion's like, oh crap, Genji's on me. And then now you walk forward, and you're set up where you want to be for the fight. The only problem, if I can make a micro adjustment here, is what angle do you think you can take from here? It's going to feel a little bit better.
I should have went left into the room with
I
the
agree.
Mega and stuff.
I agree. I left of the Mega or even hug the stone wall here, right? The good news is that at least the depth of your angle makes a little bit more sense. You don't always have to go directly behind the enemy team, right? But it's often preferable if it's available.
Okay.
You don't always. I think one little rule, not rule, but one thing you might want to look for is try to get behind characters that are going to poke you out.
Okay.
Ashes, Hanzos, Zens, Anas, those guys are just not fast. They're not going to punish you for being behind. But they're also definitely going to shoot you in the head if you stand anywhere approaching in front of them.
Okay.
So this situation here, you've got Kiri, you've got Bastion, even a little bit of Venture. I think it's okay to go behind. I don't think there's anyone's going to stop you from going behind. I think it's okay. It's a good pulse bomb. It's just I think you forced it because it was too far. It was too far. Like you said, if I go left, or if, like I said, if you go right, both of these plays feel 10 times easier with or without the pulse bomb. Okay. I think this is it here. Yeah. Okay. Any questions so far?
Yeah, so I notice in a lot of your like Tracer VOD reviews and stuff, you always mention like taking like a short off angle. Do you mind defining for me like what a short off angle is?
An off angle is something a different direction than where a certain member of your team is shooting. If you have one or two people on main, you will go left. One or two people on right, you'll go behind. One or two people on left, you'll go right, right? It's just a split from where the rest of your team is shooting. You understand that?
Yeah.
Short is a short ranged off angle. So the exact timing of this is rather pertinent because it's exactly why this pulse bomb didn't work. Because your approach is not what I would call particularly short range.
Because I had to use like both blinks for that.
You had to use both blinks. One, wait for it. This especially. 1, 2, right? It's too far. Your character has immense fall off and spread once you start to get into the longer ranges. So the further away you are, the less effective you are, and also the more vulnerable you are. Because remember, what's the value of your blinks? It makes people move their crosshair, right? So when you're relatively close to people, you can make them move their crosshair with blinks, right? But if we look at this Bastion's crosshair movement, watch when he starts to shoot you. Watch how easy it is, despite you using blinks.
I expect much from you. Bombs ticking.
You see?
Yeah, I was just in a straight line. My character barely moved at all.
Right, and it's not because your movement was bad. There is no way to move differently. You know, strafing and all that kind of stuff in closer ranges is important. But when you're trying to close the distance, the fastest way to close the distance is in a straight line. But that does make you very easy to track. So with Tracer, that's why you don't want to close the distance with blinks. You need to close the distance with your setup if you can. That way that if you approach this fight from here, you have options with your blinks. What can you do?
Just kind of annoy them, make them turn around and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then what? Then what do you do with your blinks? Make them move their crosshair. How do you do it?
Just blink all around them, blink behind
Blink
them.
here, blink here, blink here, blink through here, right? We're talking about some crazy crosshair movement, not just from the initial having to turn around and shoot the Tracer, but then, oh, crud, oh, crud, oh, crud. Oh, you get what I'm saying? That's where your survivability comes from, right there. So that's why short off angles are so important, because if you're not taking short range off angles, you're going to have to use your blinks to get close to do damage, and then you will no longer have blinks to make them move their crosshair. And if they don't have to move their crosshair, you will die.
Okay, and then in that scenario, after I've exhausted all my blinks, do I just hide behind like a corner? or
Sure.
something?
Recall. Play patiently. See if they're still giving you attention. Chill. If they are not giving you attention, poke a little bit. But yeah, most DPS characters have some form of downtime. Not necessarily completely doing literally no zero pressure, but a Bastion turret form is a great example, right? That's where his output is highest, right? Cassidy has roll, Cassidy has hinder. That's when his output is highest. Genji, deflect, and dash, his output is highest. And those are just the characters on screen. When you have blinks, that's when your potential output is highest, your survivability is highest. And so when you don't have those blinks or you don't have your recall, you're playing a lot more conservatively. Doesn't mean you have to give up the angle unless they push you, but you can just kind of live there, wait 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I start to harass again.
Okay.
Yep. Doesn't mean you need to be totally AFK, but you obviously would be a lot more reticent of taking a duel. You would avoid it if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a good shot. Like, I'm not gonna lie with you. That's a pretty nice shot from this Cassidy. But the key thing as well is look at what should be your first response when peeking a long angle here, or even an angle that's not directly behind this, right?
Quickly back behind the corner.
Quickly back behind the corner or blink, right? So your entire approach here has to be sorted out. What do? This setup for them is very difficult, but there's a very clear vulnerability. Where is it?
The objective.
The objective, okay? Can we get to that objective from where you are right now?
I could get pretty darn close.
It's scary, right? I'm not sure if you can. You could blink to here, blink here, blink here, and I think you could get to cover. I think you could. It would be scary. That's your option number 1. The other option is what? A little bit more inconvenient, but definitely a lot safer.
Would I try to blink into that room where they are?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yep. It would come here. 1, 2, maybe chill for a second. 1, 2, right? And then wrap around from here. And now you got this entire playground around here. Harass from here, wrap around, touch point, and so on. Yeah, I think obviously you rolling out here is understandable if they were holding close, but I actually really don't like rolling out here for Tracer if they're holding the high ground or have anybody here, because it's so hard to get past them.
I see.
Good. Okay. But see, again, it's like basically this is the problem with this position here, is this Cassidy can keep his crosshair on you at all times. Right here, again, your first response needs to be aggressively blinking or disengaging. You have to commit. You can't sit here and play Kovacs or Vaxta with this guy. It's not going to work. If he just puts his crosshair on you and you put his crosshair on him, it does not matter how good your tracking is, you will lose that duel. It's very frustrating. I understand. I appreciate. Looks like we might have problem solved this one a little bit. Yes, good job. Problem is, first response.
Blink back.
Blink back. And frankly, this is still too far, right? I think if you were going to approach this, you'd want to, again, make them move their crosshair more aggressively and be a little bit closer, right? But yeah, your first response oftentimes is to shoot without necessarily looking at the context of what you're doing.
Okay, so scout a little first.
Scout a little first, or like see where the crosshair is placed. And again here, this is just not a deep enough turnaround. I like the angle overall. I just don't like how you're doing it. That's better. That's better. But then I wouldn't disengage here. Okay. I think, like, when you look at this, a lot of what we're seeing here is I want deeper angles. I want more confidence with how you're moving around your blinks, and frankly, just better mechanics. And this is where, with mechanics, we're talking broad brushes here. It's both your movement and your tracking is lacking here. Like, a Bastion needs to be scared of you, not vice versa. A Bastion needs to be scared of you. He's a big hitbox. If he doesn't hit grenade, it's pretty much cooked. That duel is over for him. I look at this entire situation here, and outside of number one, approach this fight from here to start. Once I check that box off the list, You just have to win this duel. You just have to win this duel. That's as simple as that. And that's going to come with practice in deathmatch, come with practice in ring. Again, do you see the problem here, though? It's the same problem. His crosshair's on you. I appreciate that you're making him turn around this far, but his crosshair's on you. What should your first response be?
Blink back.
Blink back, or what's a more aggressive approach?
Blink through him.
Blink through him, or even just blink to the side. Even just him moving his crosshair from here to here is inconvenient. Make him do any sort of crosshair movement here is a value to you. Because the difference between you moving your crosshair and the enemy moving the crosshair is you know it's coming. That's the difference. So you could prepare to adjust your camera. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way that should have forced your recall. It should have forced a blink, maybe a recall later on. And then even here, how should you have approached this one? Right here.
Probably should have just stayed behind the eagle thing or the corner.
Shoot, harass, pepper, duck, shoot, harass, pepper, force a mercy pocket, disengage if you have to. But this is why your damage numbers are low. It's not just a mechanical thing. It's because sometimes you are not setting up on deep enough angles, and because you're not blinking on first response, or even you're not respecting enemy crosshair placement, you're constantly getting shot, like immediately, every single duel. You're not using you're not using your blinks to duel. You're using your blinks to disengage duels that you failed from the very, very start.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is never going to work. I think it's maybe because you're a little bit discouraged with like how things are going, but this is not going to work. This is way too long. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like, you've been here for how long? You've literally developed passive ult charge here. Your passive ult charge is giving you more than your damage ult charge. I think you've done 50 damage. I don't even know if you've done 50 damage. What would have been different? What would have been better instead? I know this fight's basically lost, but what could you have done instead? At least to set up for next fight.
Just blink past them all.
Sure. Where would you go?
Probably behind the building where the payload comes out.
You could disengage this way, drop here, drop here, drop here, set up for next fight. There's something here. You're not doing anything right now anyway, right? So setting up now is not the end of the world, because at least you'll enter this next fight with something and not risk dying. Saucy. Steal the mega. I may or may not have been typing in match chat after that one. I'm not gonna lie with you. Nice job. Let's talk about what was good here. Ego fade in. First off, right?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of messy trigger discipline.
Yep.
But blink to move crosshair a little bit, but you got the mega, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blink to move crosshair. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Look at what she's looking at. You see it?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, crazy strafing with Moira, pretty much worthless, but even a Moira is worth a blink through them. So she's doing no damage. You are doing damage. She panics heal orbs. Blink again through. Blink all the way through. She's still kind of like clunking around here, and then finally locks into you, but she has to leave her heal orb to do so, and then she gets blasted.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. You made a Moira move across there more than you've made any hit scan in this entire game.
I think it's just because, like, with a character like Moira, I know I have, like, a little bit of time to kind of, like...
Right.
Put some extra
There's a lot more
tracking
pressure.
Whereas, like, Cassidy or something can just, like, look at me and kill me.
It's just high risk, high reward is what it is. A Cassidy you can one clip a Cassidy. It's not easy, but you can do it. Mm-hmm. Cassidy can one tap you. How's your movement? How's his aim? That's kind of like what we're looking at here. Good. Where's your short off angle here?
Up the stairs.
Got it. 100%. Easier approach to just see everything. Ah, no. Okay, that would have been terrifying. But really, you carried this fight. You did good. You actually set up once the fight was lost. Took you a little late, but you did it. You won a duel. You forced them on the point. You were not a perfectly positioned distraction, but you did well. Really, really good. Yeah, Bastion tried. All right, let's keep rolling here. Okay, yada yada yada. Feeling good, feeling confident. We're popping off. We know we carried. Let's see. Problems again, right? What's the problem?
Should I have been in the room across the road?
Like here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can also go approach from here. This is too far and it's not deep. You could choose your poison. You could choose a nice shallow angle that's not very deep, or you could choose a little bit of a further angle, but at least it's deep. You chose the worst of both worlds. It's both far, nor is it particularly deep in the backline. So the Cassidy literally just has to do this, and it's GG's. I could go deeper than that. You should be spawn camping here. Why? Because I want to fight over here. I don't want to fight over there, right? So I could keep these guys busy for like, I don't know. How long do you think you can delay these guys? Give me an estimate.
I don't know, maybe like 8 seconds or something.
Yeah, I agree. At least 8 seconds. At least 8 seconds. Let's roll. This just feels horrible, you know? It just feels awful. It just feels so far. Like right there. This is a perfect example of what's wrong with your Tracer right here. You get stuck, you get confused, you're on an angle, and then you start to shoot here. Hey. You did 12 damage. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He did 103. And now the problem with that is that really kind of snowballs the rest of this fight, right? Like because you took that a couple of bad angles, a couple of bad engagements, your priority was to shoot instead of disengage. It kind of puts you in a hole. It gets your recall force, then your blink force, then you panic, and then you're killed. Now it's well timed, so maybe your team can get a favorable trade here because you did allow your team to take a 4v3. So ironically, I don't remember what you said. Did you say your timing was an issue going into this? Or?
Yeah.
But we haven't talked at all about timing, right? At least this game here, your timing has been good, really good. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, this is perfect. I mean, look at this, right? This is hilarious, so, right? But you're just not doing anything. You're not consistently securing kills. So timing was the only thing that was good about this. If you were to boil it down, what went wrong that engagement and something that you can actually fix, what would you say?
Probably leave out a spawn from a different door.
Okay. Why?
And then
well, no, as in last fight. Sorry, not this fight. The fight before, the fight we just beat on you for. Sorry. What critiques do you have? Because we've been, but like, what is actionable that we can learn from that fight?
Definitely should have taken a different position.
Why?
Because then my shooting would actually be more effective on somebody.
Why was it not effective?
Because it was too far.
It was too far. So I want to continue to see you take longer angles. Mm-hmm. And keep going. What else? So shorter angles. So shorter angles, mm-hmm. deeper angles when you can.
Yep. And
then when you are on a longer angle, what should your response be? When they put their crosshair on your head.
Oh, just kind of run away or
move. Move, disengage, or avoid, blink, cover, something. Do not take that engagement. It is not the play. Mm-hmm. It is not the play. Okay, let's keep going. What do you think?
It's okay.
It's okay. It's a short angle. It's about as deep as you're going to get right now. It's well timed. His crosshair's not on you, so keep shooting. As soon as he looks at you, what should your response be? Two choices.
Either back behind cover or blink.
Your choice. So ignoring the fumble of the century, it's really good, right? It's really good. That's exactly what you needed to do. Now, that's always a problem with blinking, right? It does mess up your aim as well. That's why we practice, right? But
Yeah.
this is what we want, right? Like, let's look at it from his perspective. Watch his perspective. This is really, really helpful. What? Where is she? Wait, what? Look at that. You can see he moved his wrist. It had to pick up his mouse and move it again. Do you see that?
I
Watch
didn't
carefully.
quite catch that part.
Watch that carefully. So, and then watch the segmented movement here. Ready? Right here. One, 2. You see that?
Yeah, the little pause.
That
I
little
see, I
pause,
see.
and then he shoots, but he's jumping, he's panicking, he panics. You blink that you didn't even know you blinked it, right? Probably not.
No. Yeah.
And now he's like, where is she? Where is she? Another movement. He's panicking. His crosshair's still not there. He panic rolls. He's still looking for you. His crosshair has not hit you once. Even now, it's just the favorable season 9 hit bullet changes, right? And now he's still panicked. And see, the best part about this is because you've approached him with this is the advantage of stealth. Okay, this is essentially what this is, right? It's psychological. He's scared. He's panicking, and it snowballs. Good stuff. Do you see how night and day that was? The guy went from
Yeah.
like smurfing GM Smurf to like looking like a bronze player.
I see.
That is how you take engagements right there. And it wasn't even a particularly deep angle. It was at least short. It was well timed, and you blinked well. You should be very proud of that. That is what I want you practicing in ranked, and that is what I want you practicing in deathmatch. Like even here, this is a terrible angle, but at least you blinked. At least you blinked. At least you blinked, and then you also blinked. So this is also a really cute blink. You didn't even blink when he moved his crosshair. You blinked because you heard Cassidy. You see that? Mm-hmm. So that's good. Now let's set up a different angle and let's go. I just think you go through your recall a little bit, and obviously we're a little bit early with your fight, but I'm okay with it. Let's keep going. Do you mind if we run a few minutes over?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know if you got some place to be. All right. All right. Oh no!
Definitely blink away on that one.
Yeah. That's okay. Good try. That's okay. I mean, honestly, it's fine. Well, okay. Let's look at how you approach this fight before this. No, this is reasonable. There's not a lot of this is not a lot of options here. Like if you wanted to get super cheeky with it, you could sit here and save a blink and do what?
Blink behind him as he's ulting.
Yeah, you could, or you could just set up in here as well, right? So again, it's like it doesn't really give you a very close angle, but at least it's deep, right? Yeah, but I think this is okay. This is a little bit unfortunate because he high nooned you. Let's be very clear. He was looking for you. Now this is where you can just turn your brain off and shoot. Okay, because is there anything that can poke you out here?
No.
No. So you just shoot. And just shoot, and just shoot. Now this is where you have to respond quickly then. You see that? See how quickly that can change? Good. Now win this duel. Let's go. This fight has been a wash because you and your team have kind of staggered a lot. But do you notice how long you lived here?
Yeah.
And how much damage you did? It's good movement. It's good movement. That's how you need to be taking duels. Obviously, it didn't work in terms of kill because he was getting double pocket. But that was good. That was good, too. That was good, too. Look at that. That was really good. Check it out. Crap. He caught me with my pants down. Blink. Shoot. Blink again. Shoot. Blink again. Whiff the pulse, but it doesn't matter. Do you see this? This is so good. This is perfect. It's night and day. Again, I just for fun, look at this guy's movement. And we'll play it at full speed now. Nice job.
Time to ride into the sunset.
And it wasn't even perfect. It was just good enough, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously here we just forgot about the Bastion and, you know, that's game right there. Let's take some notes. Notes. So first off, do you have any questions about anything we talked about?
I don't think so.
Okay. What do you need to practice?
Definitely taking deeper off angles.
Looking for deeper angles.
In
Why?
conjunction with shorter angles. Why? So they can move their crosshairs.
That's it.
More.
Looking for shorter angles. Why?
So I can actually deal damage when I'm on those angles.
Not just that, but check out this. Think about your blinks too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my blinks can actually make them move their crosshairs as well.
And it also means that you have blinks to save, right? You don't have to engage with blinks. You're just there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Felt like that was mostly it in terms of the macro stuff. The timing was pretty good. You were looking for angles. It's the type of the angles were not always good.
Yeah.
In terms of mechanics,
Blinking-
trigger discipline,
Yeah.
obviously,
Trigger discipline.
but
And then blinking.
more
when,
importantly,
they look
yeah.
at me.
blinks in response to heroes that look at you. Through, to the side, behind cover, dance around them. Especially heroes that can poke you out. I think we saw that even versus a Moira, the blink can still be useful, but it
Yeah.
feels more as a a nice cherry on top. Versus a Cassidy, it's you will die. Like I think the thing is like if you removed when people talk about like Tracer blinks and like Tracer's really strong in higher ranks, they should nerf Tracer and talk about like increasing her cooldowns. And I've even seen some suggestions from some of the lower rank players will say Tracer should only have 2 blinks. She's dead. She's dead. It's over. The character is literally dead, unplayable. Because everything about the character revolves around your ability to use blinks. And that's why everyone thinks about Tracer tracking, but it's the blinks is what allows you to win duels. Because if you don't know how to blink, you cannot. A gold Cassidy will kill you over and over and over again. So that's where I think a lot of your issues are probably coming from, and that's why I wanted to be specific with what you're working on mechanically, because I don't think it's useful to say, oh, your mechanics are bad. Well, what about your mechanics are bad, right? Obviously, the tracking could be better, the pulse sums could be better, the trigger discipline could be better, but I think along with that, and more important than that, is how you're moving and when you're moving, and the priority that you're putting on moving.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you have any questions.